And now for my favorite part of the course. I'm just kidding. I don't think this is my favorite part, but it is a very essential part, which is how to document harassment. Throughout the scenarios, you heard me say over and over that it's important to document the harassment. And I will say it again and again. Please document every little incident when you feel uncomfortable or you feel unsafe. You may think it's harassment, you may not know if it's harassment, just write it down. Document all those details. Even if someone looks at you in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable, document it. It could be considered a microaggression, and if they keep doing that, they keep looking at you weird over and over and over, those microaggressions build up. So document, even the looks. I know I'm saying this in a kind of silly way, but I'm very serious right now. This is me in serious mode. Verge on the side of documenting too much rather than too little. In this section, I will not only tell you why to document harassment, but I'll also tell you how to document it. I have also included a STEM Thrive Guide's harassment documentation checklist for you to use. So why document harassment? There are so many reasons to document harassment. The primary goal of documenting harassment is to maintain your safe and comfort in your work or school. This therefore helps you maintain your health and happiness so you can thrive in your career. There are several specific reasons for documenting harassment. First, filing a formal report is easier when you have detailed records of what happened over time versus just drawing solely upon your memory. Number two, in case someone continually harasses you over a period of time, you have documentation on every single instance of that harassment. Similarly, if multiple people in your workplace are harassing you, you then have detailed documents of how your whole work environment is toxic because of all these little incidents. You can better explain the big picture of your toxic work environment when you go to file a report. Number three, it helps build your awareness of how often you're harassed. This can be helpful if you're experiencing health issues and you're wondering why you're sick. Perhaps it's because of your toxic work environment, like it was for me in graduate school. Number four, documenting harassment helps you see how each incident compounds and affects your health, so you can see what you need to do to maintain your health. This is more of a way to inform how you should approach your self-care to prevent illness. Number five, documenting validates your experiences and encourages you to continue advocating for yourself. When you see your experiences in writing, it feels more like, yes, this is happening to me, and it is not my fault. I have a right to feel safe in my work environment, and these harassers are indeed making me feel unsafe. And number six, documenting tracks your progress and growth when it comes to navigating harassment. Looking back over all these scenarios that I just described, you can see my growth in how I navigated each situation. Each time I resolved a situation, I felt more confident and more empowered, and I instilled in myself that I do have a right to feel safe and comfortable in my workplace. Can you think of more reasons why it's best to record every incident of harassment you encounter? Let's move on to how to document harassment. Now that you understand why we should be documenting harassment, now I'm sure you're curious, well, how do I document harassment? What should guide you in documenting harassment is the legal system and legislation that you are operating in. Back in Chapter 3, you listed what a lawyer needs from you when you are filing a report to report harassment. That is exactly the information you should include when you document each incident of harassment. In general, though, you should include the following. The first thing to include is who the harasser is, your relationship with the harasser, and what the experience of the harassment was, where it happened, the day and the time. You also want to include your experience in reporting the harassment. Did you send any emails to anyone saying what the harasser did? Were there any witnesses? Did you have a one-on-one meeting with your boss or HR or an Office of Equal Opportunity and Diversity staff member? Where did this meeting happen? When did this meeting happen? Who was present? Include all the details, not just about the harassment, but also what you did to resolve the situation. And the last thing to document that perhaps the lawyer may not be so interested in, but you should do anyway, is your productivity before and after the harassment. Safeguarding and documenting your productivity before and after the harassment can be so critical in showing your employer that this harassment is affecting not only you, but also them. I have included more documents in this section to discuss why and how to document harassment. I encourage you to keep this documentation where you keep your records of your own harassment experiences so that when you go to document any kind of harassment you experience, you have those resources right there for you. Sometimes when I'm harassed, I'm in a state of anxiety and emotional overwhelm so that I can't really think clearly. And so having some guidelines in a space where I can just refer to those in the moment and not have to rely just on my memory really helps. It's hard to think when you're triggered. Having guidelines like these are incredibly helpful when you're having brain fog that happens after a traumatic situation. Even though right now you feel great and you feel like, oh, if I go report, it's not going to be that big of a deal. I'll be fine. I know what to do. Just know that when you're in that different mental state, when you're reporting, it becomes a lot more difficult. So help your future self out. Get those documents together and organized so that they're ready when you need them. And I hope that you never need to use them.